Hello and welcome to the House of the Spirit. Welcome home. Today we have a very special reading and it was inspired by both the full moon in Aries, which is today as I am recording, and the solar activity has been off the charts lately, and I think it's impacting people, but the thing is, people are usually not aware of the influence that the solar explosions and the solar activity has, and the sunspots has on our both the electromagnetic field of the earth, but also on our own, and especially on our brain and our brain activity, as well as our circadian cycles and rhythm, and also all the brain activity. All the different glands that we have in the brain are massively affected by this, and also our electromagnetic field, of course. So our ability to sleep, to heal, our dreams. I have been talking to some people that say that their dreams are very active right now. It's like parts of the brain might be, being they are active, and it's a whole different like story that is unfolding right now because of that. And I feel like also the fact that we have had a lot of northern lights appearing in very small latitudes, low latitudes. So in countries like Mexico, and we have had that unusual sky, lights in the sky and stuff like that. And people are not connecting the dots really. And I don't think I see a lot of like tarot readers or even astrologers giving this specific theme enough attention, because I think it's so important, and it's a cycle that it will affect, especially this year and maybe even the next. So I think this is like the climax of that activity. So I would focus on that. And why do we have the sun and the moon here? It's because it's the full moon, but I feel like this full moon is massively is being imbued by this power of the sun, actually. And if you think about it, you have the dark side of the moon, the side of the moon which we never see because of its rotation relative to the earth rotation, so, and position. So there's a part of the moon that's constantly being bombarded by outside radiation and outside influence. And when it is between us and the sun, as in, for example, the eclipse season, that part of the moon is massively impacted by this energy. And the fact that we are in at that time in the darker part, it's a very interesting, and it's a trigger. It's a very interesting trigger to our psychological and astrological connection. So it's the macrocosm impacting the microcosm. It's releasing so much energy that's coming from the unconscious part of the collective, of the sphere of the earth. So this is why I created these two piles, the sun and the moon, and you can choose with the card. The sun is here represented by Apollo, as you can see. It's a beautiful card. And then we have the moon represented by Hecate, the goddess of magic, of the moon, enchantment, magic, the goddess of crossroads, of choices, the underworld. And you can also choose your pile using your zodiac signs. So For the first pile, we have Pisces, Virgo, Cancer, Leo, Scorpio, and Libra. And for the moon pile, we have Taurus, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Gemini, Aries, and Aquarius. So I will give you a moment to choose your pile, and I will see you there. Hello, pile number 1. Let's see, what do we have for you in this very specific reading. So if you chose the solar aspect excuse me, of the reading, you chose the god Apollo, and we have, okay, let's see, travel with seasickness, being lost, disorientation, and release. I'm sorry, my voice is a little bit cracking, sorry about that. I had to get a drink of water. So knowledge, nonverbal communication, time and space, and generations. Okay. Revisions, learning in silence, studying, reason, discernment. A lot of blues. Waters, spirit helpers, abundance, forgiveness, and flow. So it's interesting to have a lot of blue and green, but makes me wonder if this has some significance. Maybe it's the water, or something for the water signs here. Let's see what else we have. We have Seth, number 16, and the boat. I'm sorry, can you see this? Interesting. Okay. Okay, let's see what the tarot cards have to say. The Chariot. And the World. I guess these want to come out. The Three of Cups. Ace of Swords. Six of Swords. And the Knight of Wands. So right away, I think that the solar activity, the solar part of this influence here, is bringing to the surface some really not a very positive influence in your life right now. I feel like there's a little bit of mischief, and there is someone or some situation that is affecting you negatively. And it's something that I don't think you're aware of. And I think this reading is specifically appearing in your life to reveal something to you about this that you don't know. I think that with all the water here and the need to study and the need for forgiveness, the nonverbal communication, I feel like there's a lot of being lost in translation. There's a lot of miscommunication here, and this energy is coming to illuminate that situation. I think it's serving a purpose of allowing you to pursue a connection with what you are doing, a deeper connection with what you are doing, having more energy, maybe even to propel you towards what you want. But before you do that, there's something that needs to end, and we are going to clarify what it is. There's a release that has to happen here, and I think it has to work with forgiveness. There's a lot of water here, and the way to find your, it's like a boat. It's like finding a way to survive, finding your boat, what protects you from harm, like in this picture here. It's the boat. So even if you're lost, even if you feel like you don't know where to go, which I don't think is the case actually, you still have to find a way to, it's like finding a vessel to transport you, to move you forward. So we are going to try to understand what is that objective, what is the purpose that is moving you, what you have to release, to end, and what is that vessel that is going to transport you and move you forward in your life right now. So I'll get a different deck for clarification. Let's see what the sun has to illuminate and shine. Make something shine. Ah, okay. But let's clarify. The Magician. So clarifying the Three of Cups and the Chariot is the Magician, which in this case is Vishnu. I believe that what you want is to be in connection with others, but the problem here is that you have to stand out somehow. I think you have to be like the initiator of things. You have to be the driving force of things, and that is uncomfortable right now. Maybe it's something that, okay, maybe I think you are receiving the wrong kind of attention. That's how I feel. Because you see how she's being like adored and offered something. This is Psyche and Eros. The Cups suit is about the romance between Psyche and Eros. So I feel like she's being put in the spotlight here. And I think that her mind is not in the right place to be put there. And this is why she's like driving things forward, but she's not allowing things to arrive at the natural conclusion. And I think that there's something you need to do that you don't really want to do, but you have the power to do it. It's like you are the one that has that power. Wow. Blessings of Babaji in this center. And this is a card that you can count upon to bring you blessings, to bring you good luck, good fortune. Everything that is touched by it is automatically positive. And it's so much so that you have to take another card and see what is the blessing, or what is Babaji blessing. Wow. The Ace of Pentacles. With this child here, I feel like Babaji is blessing a child, the birth of a child, or a child in your life, if that's your case. And it can also be that it's time for the child to grow up, and it's Babaji is bringing the blessings because it's time to end a cycle and to start a new one. And it's also the time to let go of who you were. And it might be a painful process because, after all, she is giving birth, right? Holding on to the sacred tree and giving birth, standing. And I think that this might be painful, but understand that it's blessed. It's something that is right and natural, and it's something that is guided by divine forces. It's not something that is just for pain's sake, you know. It's something that you have to move through. And I think that because you had so many outside influences that were holding you back and kind of muddying the waters and making you feel so bad, that it was hard to see the blessing. 10 of Arrows. I think that, yeah, I'll get more. I have 2 more. Let's see. Page of Cups and the 3 of Wands. So I think that what will move you forward in this situation, the vessel that will transport you forward, is the pain of that experience transmuted into emotional recognition and observing the growth that comes from that. So it's like allowing yourself how do I explain this? It's hard to explain. It's like allowing yourself to be seen by others as someone who knows very well what he or she wants and is very directed and doesn't let other people's opinions and other people's perspectives to interfere with that path. So what protects you is the fact that you have done enough, and that you should recognize that also for yourself and allow that to be like the image you project to others, the results of your work, and also allow others to engage with those results, to start to appreciate you. Because I think that with all this negative energy, you're not really used to being appreciated. So I want to clarify this energy here because it's super, super negative, actually. It's a very negative influence. And it doesn't mean that it had a lot of influence over you. It doesn't mean that it worked. It just means that this is not healthy at all. This is like the opposite of healthy. This is like envy, competition, aggression, violence. It's very negative. It's 2 negative cards. So it's like being lost in this energy is really not for the faint of heart, let's say. And I want to understand why is this here and how it affected you actually. The Four of Swords and the Strength card. So I feel like this is in your life because you're trying to maintain a certain peace. You're trying to not have conflict in your life. Maybe you didn't want to face this because it meant that you had to be, you know, confrontational. But actually, you just have to forgive yourself for something. And I think that this is also why the Strength card is here. So why is this in your life? How how it's affecting you really? So it's making you stronger. It's like making you test your boundaries, making you test your limits. You are stronger because now you want to be strong. You want to be steady and reliable to yourself, and you want to be the one who saves you. And it starts with self-forgiveness, and then you forgive others. It's very interesting reading. So this is a powerful energy, but actually it's there just because you are very strong and you're very resistant and you don't want conflict. But it's there to set you free, to set this strength free into the world. This is Durga. This is female power. This is feminine power. And it can be a little bit like tough love. So it's like showing you different forms of love. This is why this is here. This is why this very negative energy is here, to show you different forms of love. So what is the final conclusion of this situation? The Lovers, the Three of Pentacles. I feel like we have one more or two. Okay. The Five of Wands and the Chariot too, so twice. So this is confirmation of what needs to happen. This is you imposing your will. It's quite blunt. And working in a relationship or a choice in relationships or a choice in your life. Working on your choices, on how you make your choices, understanding yourself in those choices, seeing yourself mirrored in what you choose to do in your life. And it's also considering all aspects of life in a loving way, in a way that is balanced. Putting your resources into your choices, understanding the reasoning behind your choices, being clear, being very clear about what you want, because your choices are a reflection of your structure, of your moral structure, of your intellectual structure, emotional structure. So having that inner work is done so that these two aspects of your psyche are in perfect balance. I also think that you will have more time to work on yourself somehow, and you will have more time to work. This is also the case because with Three of Wands and Three of Pentacles, I feel like what is moving you forward is the will to work, to do your work, to do what you want to do. It can be your career, it can be something, a project that you're working on, something that is very important to you and that drives you, that motivates you. And now you're going to have that strength once you allow this new stage to emerge, the death of that old you, of that more naive, more like baby like you. Maybe it's not, now that I see this with the Page of Cups here, I also feel like it's not like you are going to move from being a baby to a fully grown woman like suddenly. I feel like also that you can start over. This is starting over. It's also the reverse, like being a baby again. So not being naive, having that truth emerge and knowledge emerge, complete this cycle, understand the whole situation. So include all the elements in that situation and have that knowledge, but also understand that you're protected enough to be a child again. Okay, so this is why this is here also, because this is such a negative energy. It might have made you a little bit jaded and fearful, and this is telling you, don't be afraid to be that child again, to be playful, to be more relaxed, and to be, if you need to be the center of attention, move forward and come forward like that, and have all that reputation and baggage and that weight, that aura that you have achieved because of this life experience, because of enduring so much, allowing that to elevate you, to move you forward, to fill your sails. And it's that energy that is going to move you forward, because it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of mental effort, and it's a lot of sadness and depression, maybe nightmarish, panic, sad moments that are going to have to be transmuted into something that is workable, something that you can sculpt like clay. I feel like you're going to do, maybe you're doing something with your hands, maybe it's something very practical, but I feel like this is the creation part. This is the part where that work, the results are going to start to be apparent. And with the Five of Wands here, it might it's like confronting people. It's a little bit of competition maybe, but with everything that's going on for you, I feel like whatever the competition is, it's just going to make you stronger, because you are now emerging from a period of having to live with this energy and being completely protected, emerging from this period of living with this as someone who is blessed and protected and so lovable. I feel like there's this very endearing energy here in the center of the reading. Once you emerge from this, you're going to be more attractive also, because you are going to transform into something, into someone who is has a lot of magnetism, has a lot of charm, And it's because of the work you have done, and it's because of the will, and it's also because of you being available to work on yourself in this manner, in this way, that is very attractive, that is very magnetic to people. Very interesting reading, super deep and profound. I felt like these sun energies were very, very strong. So I'm going to move on to the moon energies next. So thank you so much for this. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And share the video if it resonated with you. And I hope to see you again very soon. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. You have chosen the moon. So, sorry, I am going to start with some oracle cards. What are the secrets? This full moon in Aries, very powerful, has to say. Duality, alternation, alternation, paradox, hardship, mediation, and threshold. Love, childlike innocence, play, honesty, essence, and DNA, sharing, primordial essence, and eternity. Okay, let's see. What more do we have for pile number 2? Okay, so actually you have the sun. Interesting. Ra, number 19. Sekhmet, number 11. And Thoth. Number 5. Okay, so for the tarot cards, for the moon pile, what do we have? Let's see these and then get some more if we need. The Hierophant, the Page of Cups, the Devil, the Six of Cups, okay, I think I'm going to do this reading a little bit different from the other. Let me just get one more. Wow, the Sun twice. I really feel like this reading, it can be very useful to watch both of the piles if it interests you. But this is how I felt about this moon. It's like it's being severely burnt by the sun at this point because of all the sunspots and the sun explosions. So it's really important to consider what is happening, what is the magic of the moon being so exponentially powered by the sun. And it's the full moon, so the moon, the whole disk of the moon is reflecting the sun. So you have in the nighttime, you have all that geomagnetic activity because of all the belts that are forming around the earth. And you also have the light and the radiation that is being reflected by the moon. And I feel like this is really deeply affecting us. And I think that this reading is about that. How is the moon interfering with our DNA? This is really deep. And we have the Hierophant twice here. I feel like this is going to bring us a lot of change on the collective, and maybe this is also creating a lot of change in history. So how I feel is like affecting the direction of history. This is like a cosmic interference. It's like an intervention, is how I feel. It's almost alien-like. But that's a huge rabbit hole, and I'm not going in there. I feel like I want to get some more cards, and I will choose a different deck. Let's see. I think I'll get this one. Okay. The moon. What does the moon has to say? Sorry. I feel like we have to study the night time. Maybe we have to read during the night, and I feel like we have to read like religious or spiritual scripture here, something that makes you feel protected, because there's some power here that wants to imprison people. And I feel like it wants to have people be constantly in the loop of pleasure and nostalgia because of the Six of Cups here. This is Psyche, and this is a good card usually, because it's like remembering good times and sharing beautiful stories that you have lived with your loved ones, and just sharing love, and being in that beautiful energy of positivity and of also the anticipation of maybe reliving the past. But I think here with the Devil, this is not it can have a negative aspect. And I feel like this reading is calling us to understand that there is a paradox in that feeling, because you should have that. Good memories are always good to have. It means we had a good time and a good life. But at the same time, it's very important to focus on what is coming after, because I feel like the sun is warning us that something is going to change, something very deep is going to change, and it's something that is changing humanity on a collective on the collective sphere. And it's something physical, because with the DNA, of course, DNA has many expressions, but I think that it's something on the body. There's something on the body, and I feel like it's serving the purpose of liberating us from dwelling on pleasure and just being too hedonistic, maybe. Because with the Page of Cups here, this is Narcissus, and he fell in love with his own reflection, and that is why he died, because he plunged into a lake because he thought that the person he loved the most, which was his reflection, was there. But he never knew real love because of that. And I think that that is the most tragic part of the story of Narcissus, is that he only saw the surface. He never saw the deeper part. And this is This is manipulation, and I feel like there's someone keeping us on the surface of something, of our own psyche, maybe, of our own spirituality, of our own spiritual growth, keeping us in a mental prison and like being entertained, being it's like feeling inspiration, but it's a fake inspiration. To me, it's a little, it's, you know, this is a it's a contentious point, but I feel like AI, especially generative AI and AI art, can be very dangerous. And I feel like this is also talking to us about that spirit of illusion, like being, you feel like you have made art, but in reality, you didn't make anything. And many artists had to do something in order for that AI to train and to produce the thing that you are now seeing in front of you, that you think, you are deceived to think that it's you that has done that because you wrote the sentences. But in reality, it's a very dark interaction. I feel, yeah, dark interactions. And also people interacting with AI and thinking that that is a real person, and it's not. And this is happening on a massive scale. And the sun, I think the sun is giving us the ability to distinguish that. And that has to happen with a change in our DNA. That's crazy. That's very interesting. I never thought of that. Because it's teaching us. You have Thoth. And I mean, Thoth is the god of medicine, the god of writing, the god of science, the god of healing, the god of communication, art, the esoteric arts, the mysteries. It's a knowledge. It's the deepest knowledge you can have. And this with DNA, I feel like there's a knowledge in our DNA that is coming to the surface. We are going to understand that by nighttime. So by nighttime, we are getting the updates. It's like we are getting the upgrades we need through our glands, because they are the most affected by this. It's the same, it's almost, I feel like this can be an example, the same thing that happens in people who are living near the poles when there's the 6 months of sunshine. And it's very hard on the body. It creates a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety because we need the darkness. The darkness is very important to rest. But if you're getting cosmic radiation, even though it's dark, it doesn't mean that you're not receiving light or information. So you're kind of being stimulated at a time that you should be resting. But this is the way to protect us from this prison. To liberate us from this prison is to be awake when we should be asleep. Maybe this is the way to awaken, truly awaken. The Page of Pentacles, doing the work. It's like working at night. The Seven of Wands, standing your ground. Resisting. And what about this devil here? What about the devil? 10 of Wands. Interesting. I feel like we are getting triggered on a collective sphere. We are getting triggered by the wrong things. And it's creating like a diversion, like an illusion, so that we don't see the real burden, so that we don't see the real problem. And the real problem is this entity here, this character that is manipulating people. Death card. This is truly the end of this illusion. I feel like maybe it's a little bit painful, because it's going to be letting go of something that is actually pleasurable. The hanging man, or the hangman. Yes, there's that surrender, having to let go. Queen of Cups and Four of Swords. Queen of Cups and Four of Swords here for me is about extrasensorial abilities, capabilities. It's about clairvoyance, it's about clairaudience, scrying, mediumship, being a medium, being a channeler. And this is the state, the mental state you have to be in, and what you're going to see. I think that this is awakening a lot of capabilities in people. It's like bringing that to light. So maybe this is the time to understand the importance of developing those skills, because they are the ones that will save us from this illusion. And you are going to receive them because of the nighttime radiation. So whenever you see the northern lights, this is the work of this other entity that comes from the sun, that wants you to awaken, that wants you to go to the essence, that wants honesty, that wants truth. And we are just on the cusp of this change, and this is why there are many convulsions. There might be, of course, also physical, like in the earth, in like earthquakes, weather. We have seen this, of course. That might be something that is also coming to the forefront, but everything that is happening is because of this clash between these two forces. The ones that want to keep you deluded, and the light and the truth. And because we are on the place of change, we are on the threshold, we are still having to deal with this duality, with this alternation between having this very pleasurable life, having like this window to this amazing technological world that has the potential to save us from so much pain and so much hardship. And at the same time, it's like opening the gates of hell in a way, and like being subject to dark forces, dark influences. And we have to separate the wheat from the chaff. And in order to do so, we have to develop this skill of seeing through things, of surrendering the pleasures of the immediate pleasures and the hedonistic approach, and to just the, like playing games all day and enjoying all the technological gadgets and stuff like that. That's there's always a novelty, there's always something new. It's too much. Like this entity is overwhelming us, is overwhelming our senses, and we have to give up that. Okay, so I feel like this reading is really clarifying something that I was talking about today, because I wanted to, like, by nighttime just have the candle light and not really have electrical light, because I think it's interfering with my sleep too much, because I live in the northern hemisphere, and winter is coming, so the nights are coming earlier, and the nights are longer, and something is changing, and I need to be able to change with those rhythms, to adapt naturally and not fight. And I feel like with the electrical lights we can fight that, and it's a great technological advancement, don't get me wrong. I feel like we have this amazing world with so much potential to avoid pain in every way for everyone, but I really think that we have to use it wisely, and sometimes we have to not use it so that we can continue to develop our human skills, because using too much of the technology is impairing some of our senses, is impairing, it's like blocking our DNA from evolving. Super, super interesting. So I feel like the first reading ended up being more personal, and the second reading is much more collective. But it resonates deeply with me, and I hope it does also with a lot of you. That we have to understand the collective sphere and the private sphere and the personal sphere, so that we can achieve a certain balance and continuity. Because if we don't have that storyline, we get just disconnected and dissociated and anxious, because we can't find the parallels between our inner world and the outer world and that outer expression. So I see many people like very frustrated because their moral compass and their moral structure isn't really reflected in their lives. And I feel like that happens to us very easily, because we get too attached to what we perceive. And I feel like nowadays we have such an overwhelming amount of information that it's very, very easy for us to kind of give up and just want the pleasure. Like, I just want to have fun and like watch cat videos, on Instagram all day, because I can't really deal with this amount of information, because I have to process so much. Like, I have to have a moral choice, a virtuous choice, let's say, informed choice, intellectual. It's an intellectual exercise, and it's a very painstaking. It's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of labor here, and it's unnatural for us. It's just too much, because the computer can process massive amounts of information. We have to select, and this intuition, this connection to our skills, this is not only the connection to God or to the divine and developing that. It's not only that, it's using those extra sensorial, those different skills, let's say, using them to discern, using them in your daily life, applying the knowledge, applying that skill So it's like people pray. They pray to the divine. But sometimes they just do it like they're despairing, or they are afraid. They don't understand what they are doing. Like, what are you doing when you are praying? You are doing many things that I don't actually know of course. But one of the things that I think we are doing when we are praying is we are also opening up new pathways, or we are surrendering to God in a way. We are surrendering to spirit in a way that allows what we don't see to come, what we don't know to come. And it's like our dreams are calling us to do something, and it's like warning us or trying to get our attention. And they many times they look ridiculous, they sound ridiculous, the stories are surreal, but they are trying to get a message across in a symbolic way. And I feel that this is also very important, is to go deep into our understanding of the subconscious and the unconscious, so that we are not easily manipulated, so that we are not caught in this pleasure seeking cycle that imprisons us and that keeps parts of our DNA from being triggered, from being called upon to exist. It's like epigenetics. So this is why the love here, we have this love here. I feel like if we surrender that need for pleasure, we will have true love, because we will go to the essence. We will have the essence of things. We will touch the essence if we give up the fake pleasure. If we don't let ourselves be overwhelmed by too much information. So it's like going on a diet, like a social media diet, a gadget diet, using the darkness, using the night for that study of those skills, for applying those skills. So writing your dreams, journaling, reading and not using electrical light, achieving deep sleep so that you can go down to your subconscious and release yourself from this entity here. Because this, it's like you know what I feel? It's like a music that's always playing. It's like when you go into a shop and you have that music that is kind of hypnotic and it's always playing. There's no silence, there's no stopping the music, and you have to dance to the tune and you can't let go of that. And when you come out of the store, you feel like you can breathe again, and you feel like more relaxed again, because oh my god, I didn't realize that I was listening to that music and it was creating a state of mind and a state of and my emotions were changing, and I didn't realize because it was just playing in the background. I feel like this is also like being overstimulated, having too much background noise, too much stuff around you that is not important, that you have to cut from your life, that you have to surrender, so that you have this intuition, natural intuition emerge that helps you discern things very clearly, and it helps you achieve a lot of health. It also may be the case that it will make you available to love. You will be able to have fun in a different way because you're not so stimulated. It's so interesting, super interesting. I could be here all afternoon exploring this theme that's very interesting and very pertinent for me. also personally. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I sure did. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And share the video if it resonated with you. And I hope to see you again very soon. Bye bye.